this gentleman here was not there, Jan was not there, so he was making calls. So we were out in this field. Stanley was on a crane, and we're out in this field. I think we were at, where did we shoot the Enfield, right, which was British.
British military. It was a British military camp which we were allowed to use,
right,
so that we didn't have to build all these foreign buildings.
So we were doing this British camp, military camp for Paris Island. We were using parts of it to look like Paris Island. So we were in the obstacle area, and they had these yellow tires painted, and 3 huge circles of yellow tires. I mean, 300 feet diameter. And all these, everybody that didn't have a line in the movie was a Brit. In greens like an American, right? So they were all cross-legged sitting around these tires. And Stanley, the one thing about shooting in England for, is the sky is very particular there, and the light changes constantly, where the clouds are low, and he was constantly looking for the right light and his right shot. So he would sit up on the crane like a pirate, with his lens, many lenses actually, and with he'd sit on this crane. He'd sit on this crane, and we'd all sit there and we watch, and the Brits, because a few of them, I won't say all of them, but a few of them would drink all day. And they would get antsy because, they had spent like 2 hours since they've had a beer, and they've been sitting in the sun around these tires, and it's time that they refresh themselves, And so, somebody would say some nasty comment, And Terry the first, who was like an old ball player, right? Like, he was a big dude, man. Terry would hear it, and he'd come over to the tires, and he'd say, "Who said that?" And everybody'd get really quiet, Just cool out, guys. Stanley's looking for the shot, right? So he'd walk away. And then some Brit would get up the nerve and scream something out, right? And Stanley came down off the crane, and I was watching the whole thing happen, Stanley's talking to Terry. They're both kind of like, Stanley's getting frustrated because he can't find his shot. Terry's getting frustrated because the Brits want to get their beer. So things are getting a little tense. And some Brit has to say something, so says something else again, and Terry comes stomping over to the big, you got to imagine, it's like, maybe 200 guys sitting around these tires, right? And Terry goes, "Who said that? I want to know who said it." And one of the Brits stands up and says, "I'm Spartacus." And then another one stands up and says, "No, I'm Spartacus." It was so funny, man. And about 50 of them stood up, "I'm Spartacus." And Stanley said, "Everybody go, have lunch or something."
Thank you very much.